What if I told you there's an artist in K-pop right now who hasn't just reached the top, but has refused to leave it? Not for a comeback cycle, not for a viral moment, but for 111 consecutive weeks. Because this story, it's not about a rise anymore, it's about a reign. And at the center of it all is Kim Seokjin. Let that number sink in. 111 weeks, that's over 2 years of being chosen, again and again and again. Every single week, millions of fans open their phones, cast their votes, and say the same thing. It's still him. In just 1 week, April 5th to April 12th, Jin didn't barely hold on to first place. He dominated it with over 8 million votes. And here's what makes that number emotional, not just impressive. Those aren't casual clicks. That's effort, that's time, that's love, repeated millions of times across the world. But the weekly streak? That's only part of the story. Because while the world changes, trends shift, new names rise, Jin has quietly been holding number 1 in monthly rankings for 27 straight months. 27. That's not hype. That's not luck. That's loyalty that never breaks. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of artist inspires that level of devotion? Yes, people talk about his visuals, worldwide handsome, god of beauty, titles that follow him everywhere. But if this were just about looks, this wouldn't last 2 years. Yes, people talk about his voice. That unique tone that can feel like a whisper 1 second and hit you like a wave the next. The way he doesn't just sing notes, he delivers emotions. You don't just hear him, you feel him. And then there's the stage. Because when Kim Seokjin walks out under those lights, something shifts. There's a calm confidence, a presence that doesn't beg for attention, but somehow commands all of it. Your eyes don't wander, they stay on him. But even all of that combined still isn't the full answer. Because what truly keeps him at the top is something you can't measure on a chart. It's the way he makes people feel seen. The way his personality, playful, warm, sometimes unexpectedly deep, breaks through the image of a global superstar. The way fans don't just admire him, they connect with him. And that connection, it's powerful enough to move numbers, to break records, to create something that looks less like popularity and more like devotion. But here's where the story expands. Because Jin isn't standing alone, he's part of something even bigger. Because in April 2026, BTS once again claimed number 1 in idol group brand reputation. And not quietly, not barely. They surged to nearly 19 million points, a staggering 90% increase from just the month before. That kind of jump? It doesn't happen unless something massive is happening behind the scenes. Behind them, groups like IVE and Wanna1 hold strong positions. These are not small names, these are industry leaders. And yet, BTS still stands above. When analysts broke it down, the data revealed something fascinating. The words most associated with BTS were overwhelming, perform, gather, and one word that says everything, ARMY. Because none of this exists without them. The fans. The ones who stream, vote, show up, and stay. The ones who turned 111 weeks into reality. The ones who transformed numbers into something emotional. And right now, that connection is no longer just digital. It's alive. It's loud. It's happening in real time. Because BTS has officially launched their world tour, starting in Goyang. Thousands of voices, light sticks glowing like a galaxy. A moment where online support becomes something you can hear and feel and breathe. And Jin? He's already moving forward, boarding a flight to Tokyo, stepping into the next chapter, walking onto new stages in new cities with the same unwavering presence. But here's the part that lingers, the part that makes this story feel different. Because usually, when someone stays at the top this long, people start asking when they'll fall, when the next star will take over, when the moment will pass. But with Kim Seokjin, that question feels almost irrelevant. Because this doesn't feel temporary, it doesn't feel fragile, it feels anchored. Like no matter how fast the industry moves, no matter how many new names appear, no matter how trends evolve, there's still this one constant. A voice, a face, a presence that millions of people continue to choose every week without hesitation. So maybe the real story isn't just that Jin is number 1. Maybe it's this. In a world where everything changes so quickly, he didn't just reach the top, he made it feel like home. And somehow, he's still inviting the world to stay there with him.